I came to do the cards of the day. Oh wow, there's something weird to your teeth. Fine, my teeth are fine. It's just the filter. So the cards of the day that I pulled are the Moon and the Queen of Swords. Now the Moon, this card would be a Cancer card because the Moon rules Cancer, and Cancer is a water sign. And the Moon and water are synonymous because you know that the Moon affects the tide, you know, the water coming in and out. I have to change this because my teeth look so fucked up. The Moon affects the tide, the water coming in and out. The Moon also affects blood flow and like women's periods, menstruation. So like the Moon and Cancer, that's inextricably, you know, tied together. And then the Queen of Swords is someone who's like straight up. So I'm going to take this opportunity to speak what's on my mind because this is what's going on underneath and this is where I need to put it, up front and center. So Ontario. So our nurses and our teachers are both saying that they do not have the tools to do their job. The teachers do not have they're ending up going to Dollarama half the time and buying their pencils and like their workbooks and buying all the tools that they need. The amount of support and the amount of financial support and emotional support for teachers has severely dropped to the point where when you have a really good teacher, the majority of that is 75% of that teacher having to go in and do all these things, like even, you know, after hours and all this sort of stuff, making all these plans and doing all these things that they're not being paid for to provide a good environment for these children. Then we've got the nurses, and the nurses are asking for all these different things that they need in order to do their job properly, including more assistance from other nurses, including sick days, including proper pay, including not being, the nurses are doing what, a substitute teacher is. That's basically how a lot of nurses are being hired as substitutes. They don't have full benefits because they're hired kind of on call, and then there are nurses that are getting COVID and then they're having to leave, work because they have COVID, and they're not being paid like hazard pay for having COVID. They're just having to take the hit because they don't have any sick days. This is the Ontario that Doug Ford is co-signing and that you've co-signed by voting for him and for potentially voting for him again. This is the Ontario that you're thinking of, and I really want you to think about it because a lot of you people are pumping out babies for no goddamn reason, and you're pumping out babies into a system where we're not going to have teachers and we're not going to have enough nurses. And I don't need to tell you what's going to happen if we don't have enough nurses and if we don't have enough teachers. Those are two things straight out of life. You come into a hospital, you right into a hospital, you need a nurse. And then straight after that, 4 or 5 years, you're going into school. We need nurses. We need teachers.